What do you know about David De Gea? He's arguably the best goalkeeper of his generation, possibly Manchester United's greatest ever shot stopper, and certainly among the finest keepers the Premier League has ever seen. But there was one particular afternoon in December 2017 when this man practically transformed into an octopus at the Emirates Stadium. He didn't just save shots, he saved his team. Arms everywhere, reflexes from another planet. That day, he wasn't just a goalkeeper, he was a monster in gloves. Now imagine being Arsenal that December. They were chasing history. A relentless 12-match Premier League home winning streak, aiming for a record-breaking 13th consecutive victory at the Emirates. They'd been dominating teams on their own turf all season long, turning the Emirates into an absolute fortress where visiting teams came to suffer. The confidence was sky high, the atmosphere was electric, and this was supposed to be the match where they made the ultimate statement against one of their biggest rivals. Still, there was one final mountain to climb, breaking that home-winning record against Manchester United, one of the toughest opponents they could face. They arrived at the Emirates hungry, motivated, and desperate to make history in front of their own fans. But standing in their way was Manchester United, a team that had been inconsistent all season, but always seemed to raise their game in the biggest matches. They had already pulled off some impressive results that season, showing they could compete with anyone on their day. And in every big game, it was their Spanish goalkeeper who kept them alive when things looked impossible. Now here they were once again, battered by criticism but still standing. And De Gea, he was about to deliver the performance of a lifetime. And for Arsenal, the motivation ran even deeper. They were still haunted by years of frustration against the big teams, years of coming close but falling short when it mattered most. They had been building something special at the Emirates, creating this incredible home record that had become their source of pride and identity. This time though, they came for victory, and you could tell from the very moment the first whistle went that they wanted to make United feel the full force of their attacking prowess. With players like Alexis Sanchez, Alexandre Lacazette, mesut Ozil, and a supporting cast full of creativity and pace, they had assembled the perfect 11 to break down any defense. But it just wasn't meant to be for the Gunners that afternoon. De Gea broke records and broke hearts. He made 14 saves in that game, breaking the Premier League record for most saves by a goalkeeper in a single match. The first of which came in the 19th minute, and it set the tone for what was about to unfold. Arsenal won a corner after a chaotic build-up in the box, with players scrambling and the ball bouncing dangerously around United's penalty area. Granit Xhaka headed it back into the danger area with precision and power. Lacazette, showing his striker's instinct, redirected it with a faint but clever touch toward the bottom corner. The ball was on target, the angle was perfect, but De Gea was in the way. He didn't see much of it, there was no time to react, but sometimes a keeper makes his own luck. The ball smacked off his leg, bounced back into Lacazette, and spun harmlessly wide for a goal kick. It looked scrappy, even accidental, but it kept the game level. The pressure was building, the crowd was getting louder, and you could feel something was brewing in North London. Arsenal continued to mount immense pressure on Manchester United throughout the first half, wave after wave of attacks crashing against United's defense. And in the 33rd minute, they created what should have been the breakthrough moment that everyone in the stadium was waiting for. Alexis Sanchez, with his trademark vision and precision, threaded a perfect through ball to Lacazette after Arsenal had finally managed to break United's defensive line. The French striker, who had been Arsenal's main threat all season, found himself in a glorious position. After it came off the crossbar, it was a bit of a scramble, then it rolled out to Xhaka 12 yards out, center of the goal. Looked destined to score, but somehow he put it wide. The Emirates Stadium fell silent for a moment, unable to comprehend what they had just witnessed. But Arsenal weren't finished. They kept coming, kept probing, kept creating. The kind of relentless, flowing football that had made them so dangerous at home all season long. In the 36th minute, they found another golden opportunity. Lacazette, with perfect awareness, floated a pinpoint cross to Mesut Ozil waiting at the edge of the box. The German maestro didn't let it touch the ground, striking it first time with that signature left foot. It had power, it had conviction, but it went straight to De Gea. He barely had to move. Positioned perfectly, calm as ever, it was the kind of moment that summed up De Gea's night. Arsenal were doing everything right, and it still wasn't enough. You see, Arsenal were really in the mood that afternoon. They had been building this incredible home fortress all season long, turning the Emirates into a place where visiting teams came to suffer and leave empty-handed. Their 12-match winning streak at home wasn't just a statistic, it was a statement of intent, a declaration that they were ready to compete with the very best teams in the country. So they in particular took this game personally. After establishing their home dominance and building this incredible record, they famously wanted to make it 13 wins in a row and set a new benchmark for consistency and excellence, obviously referring to their quest for a piece of Arsenal history that would be remembered for generations. The Gunners were extra motivated going into that game, and you could see it in every pass, every run, every shot they took, and to be fair to them, they actually did back up their confidence on the pitch with some of the most impressive attacking football you'll see in the Premier League. With the way they played that afternoon, creating chance after chance after chance, that could have been an all-time great attacking performance, if not for a certain Octopus on the other team. In the opening 44 minutes alone, Arsenal had already tried multiple times from every conceivable angle and distance, but had been stopped repeatedly by the best goalkeeper in the league. But they didn't stop knocking, they didn't stop believing, and they didn't stop creating opportunities. In the 44th minute, however, it was Hector Bellerin who decided to test De Gea from a completely different angle. The Spanish right back, known for his pace and attacking threat, found space on the right flank and unleashed a powerful driven strike that was heading straight for the side netting. This was more threatening than anything we had seen all game up to that point. Everyone in the stadium thought Bellerin's shot had finally beaten the keeper. It had the speed, the precision, the intent, and to be fair to Arsenal, it would have beaten any other goalkeeper in the Premier League that day. Just not De Gea, not that afternoon, not when he was in this kind of supernatural form. The Spanish goalkeeper responded brilliantly, getting down fast and parrying it wide with his right hand. His positioning was perfect, his technique was flawless, and his timing was absolutely immaculate. But Arsenal weren't finished with their assault on United's goal. The crowd could sense it. A goal felt inevitable. With every attack, every shot, the belief inside the Emirates only grew stronger. Surely one of these chances had to beat even the best goalkeeper in the world. Moments later, it was Sead Kolasinac who stepped up. From the edge of the box, he struck through the laces with his left foot. The ball swerved sharply toward the near post, catching some off guard with its pace and movement. But De Gea was ready. He read it early, got across quickly, and parried it wide with minimal fuss. It wasn't a highlight reel save, but it was another example of his total control. Staying sharp, staying solid, and denying Arsenal yet again. At this point in the match, the Arsenal players and fans were already getting really frustrated with what they were witnessing. How exactly are they supposed to win this football match if the man in the opposing goal seems to have 8 limbs and was everywhere all at once, making saves that shouldn't be humanly possible? But that didn't stop them from keeping on going, from continuing to believe that eventually, surely, one of these shots would find its way into the back of the net. Having tried shots from distance, which couldn't beat the goalkeeper, having tried close-range efforts that were somehow kept out, Arsenal were running out of ideas, but not out of determination. In the first minute of stoppage time, they won a free kick that led to the most incredible and bizarre moment of the entire first half. The free kick delivery caused chaos in United's penalty area, with players jumping, jostling, and scrambling for position. In the midst of all this confusion, Romelu Lukaku, United's own striker, accidentally flicked the ball backwards toward his own goal. An unexpected redirection that was heading straight into United's net. It was the kind of freak accident that can change the course of a football match. The kind of moment that goalkeepers have nightmares about. But De Gea had other plans. Showing reflexes that seemed to operate on a different level from normal human beings, he leaped backward and clawed the ball away from the bottom corner, making one of the most instinctive and athletic interventions you'll ever see on a football pitch. The save was so spectacular, so unexpected, and so crucial that even some of the Arsenal fans found themselves applauding the sheer audacity and skill of what they had just witnessed. Arsenal's players looked at each other in disbelief. Their fans sat back in their seats, unable to comprehend what they were witnessing. How many times can one goalkeeper deny a team that was playing this well? So we went into halftime with Arsenal having dominated every aspect of the game except the most important one: The score line. They had created chance after chance. They had played some of the most attractive attacking football you'll see in the Premier League, but they had nothing to show for their efforts except frustration and disbelief. Arsenal fans were hoping that the break would somehow affect De Gea's form, that maybe the interval would disrupt his rhythm and concentration, but it did nothing of the sort. If anything, the Spanish goalkeeper seemed to come out for the second half even more determined and focused than before. But for the Arsenal players, the frustration of the first half was starting to show, and you could see it in their body language, in their decision making, and in the way they were starting to snatch at chances instead of taking them calmly. 49 minutes in, there was a glimmer of hope. At 2-1, and suddenly the comeback felt possible. The crowd was electric, the players were energized, and for a moment it seemed like Arsenal's relentless pressure might finally pay off. But even with renewed hope, De Gea wasn't finished with his heroics. In the 53rd minute, Alex found himself with time and space inside the penalty area. Exactly the kind of opportunity that Arsenal had been creating all afternoon. It bounced up as he controlled it, but that allowed him to fully put his laces through the ball, striking it with venom, but unfortunately for Arsenal, straight at De Gea, diving low and parrying it out with both hands. It was really heartbreaking for Arsenal at this point. They had managed to get one goal back and were playing some of the best football they had produced all season, creating the kind of chances that should have resulted in at least an equalizer, but they were being denied by one man who seemed to be operating on a completely different level. But the only good thing for Arsenal was that they still had plenty of time left on the clock. With how they had been playing and having pulled one back, the Gunners certainly still backed themselves to find a way past this godly version of De Gea. So they picked themselves up and got back to attacking with the same venom and determination they've been playing with all season. A few minutes later, in the 56th minute, Arsenal finally created the kind of clear-cut chance that surely had to result in a goal. In searching for a breakthrough that seemed to be getting more elusive by the minute, Arsenal boss Arsene Wenger decided to make big changes to try and find a different approach. He brought on fresh legs, pushed more players forward, and essentially threw everything he had at trying to find a way past the Spanish wall in United's goal. Arsenal ended the game with multiple attackers on the pitch, desperately trying to find any route to goal, any weakness in De Gea's armor, any moment of vulnerability they could exploit. The substitutions had an instant impact on the game's tempo and intensity, but not in the way Arsenal hoped. If anything, their desperation seemed to make De Gea even more determined and focused. And then, against the run of play, Manchester United struck again. In the 63rd minute, Jesse Lingard grabbed his second goal of the match, extending United's lead to 3-1 and effectively killing off Arsenal's hopes of a comeback. The goal was a devastating blow to Arsenal's morale, but it made De Gea's performance even more crucial. He wasn't just keeping a clean sheet, he was preserving a vital lead that would secure all 3 points. In the 65th minute, as Arsenal's frustration reached its peak, Alexis decided to try something different. The Chilean superstar, known for his ability to produce moments of magic from nothing, tried a thunderbolt from outside the box. It was hit with venom and precision, the kind of shot that has beaten many great goalkeepers over the years. But De Gea read it early, positioned himself perfectly, and parried it wide, showing incredible confidence and technique under the most intense pressure imaginable. We were now in the final moments of the match, with Arsenal throwing everything they had at United's goal, but De Gea still refused to be beaten. Arsenal definitely didn't give up. Their character and determination were admirable, and they kept creating chances right until the final whistle. They kept testing De Gea with shots from every angle, every distance, every possible situation, but every single time he was there. 14 saves in total, a performance that defied belief, logic, and everything we thought we knew about what was humanly possible on a football pitch. As the final whistle went, all Arsenal players' heads went down, and it felt like a subtle sign of agony, exhaustion, and complete disbelief at what they had just experienced. On a different day, with a different goalkeeper, they could easily have scored 5, 6, or even 7 goals with the chances they created, but De Gea didn't even let them get close to an equalizer that afternoon. The Spanish keeper was simply impenetrable. That day, Arsenal had dominated possession with 75% of the ball. They had 33 shots, their highest total against a Big Six opponent in 7 seasons. They created chance after chance, but every single one of those attempts was saved by De Gea. Meanwhile, Manchester United had won the match 3-1 despite being outplayed for most of it. It seemed pretty unfair if we're being totally honest. Some say it was bad luck for Arsenal, but I say it was the magic of De Gea. That game could have gone on for 90 more minutes, and Arsenal still would not have gotten past the Spanish goalkeeper. He was really in the mood that afternoon. With 14 saves and complete command of his penalty area, De Gea was unsurprisingly named player of the match. He also went into the record books as the goalkeeper with the most saves in a single game, and his performance single-handedly secured all 3 points for Manchester United. That was how good, dominant, and heartbreaking that performance was. De Gea had single-handedly ended Arsenal's 12-match home-winning streak and secured a crucial away victory for Manchester United when they had no right to win the match based on the balance of play. Surely it goes down as one of the greatest goalkeeping performances in Premier League history. Let me know what you guys think is the best goalkeeping performance of all time, and I'll make a video about it very soon. Thanks for watching, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.